and she says, the only reason you got me is because I was recently divorced, scared, and I had a kid. Can you sit down on the couch for a second? Sits down and said, we're done. We're getting a divorce. And she tried everything. She begged. All right, y'all. So do you side with a man or woman in the case I'm about to present here? Okay. I'm actually going to side with the man on it, but I'd like to hear what you have to say. So this man and this woman, husband and wife, they're having a party. They've been married for a couple years, and the guy's stepkid, her kid, is there at the party. Everybody's having a good time or whatever, and he's giving relationship advice to some of their friends. And she comes over and says, don't take relationship advice from him. And he thinks she's playing around and says, well, it got me you, didn't it? And he gives her a kiss or whatever. And she says, the only reason you got me is because I was recently divorced, scared, and I had a kid. And basically he was a safe choice. And he goes silent, right? And I mean, I don't know. That would be so freaking devastating. Okay. But a couple days later, she realizes how silent and how affected he is. And she tries apologizing. He said, I'll be okay. And then like 2 weeks later, she's starting to get into panic because he will not talk to her. He won't do anything. She starts cooking his favorite foods, trying to do all the things that he likes, even goes so far as to have their kids go stay at her parents' house, or his stepkid and her kid go stay at the parents' house. And then she takes him somewhere that was important to them. And they go stay a couple nights there. And then when they come back, he goes to work for a couple days. He comes back. As soon as he walks in the door, he said, can you sit down on the couch for a second? Sits down and said, we're done. We're getting a divorce. And she tried everything. She begged him not to go. She said, I love you now. I'm so sorry. Blah, blah, blah. I actually side with the guy on this. And I'm not trying to be mean. I understand everybody's situation would be different. But the fact of the matter is, and a lot of people are going to say, no, you work harder on a marriage. To me, that contract's null and void because she did not love him when she got into the relationship. Okay. She saw safety. She was panicked after her recent divorce, being a stay-at-home mom with a single kid. So she latched onto the first guy she didn't even love because he had money and could provide safety. And that's what she did, and admitted that's what she did. And so when he found out, he's like, oh, you don't love me? I don't want you then. Do you agree with this guy for divorcing her? She said she admitted she didn't love him. She just chose him for safety. And to me, that would be about the only more devastating thing a woman could do is love me and then cheat on me, which to me means she never really loved me in the first place. But let me know what your thoughts are. I would definitely side with the guy.
Let's talk about this, because this pattern keeps showing up over and over again, and nobody wants to say it out loud. Before we dive in, drop a comment. Are modern men more delusional, or is it the ladies? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what we expose next. What's truly shocking isn't just the disrespect itself, it's how casual it's become. So many people genuinely believe they can openly disrespect their partner, mock them, undermine them, or cross obvious boundaries and then act surprised when there are consequences. In their mind, a real man is supposed to laugh it off, absorb it, and keep things moving like nothing happened. No pushback, no standards, no backbone. But here's the reality. They don't want to confront. No man with self-respect operates like that. A man who values himself does not normalize disrespect just to keep the peace. He doesn't minimize it. He doesn't explain it away. And he definitely doesn't reward it with silence. Respect is not optional in a relationship. It's the foundation. Once that's gone, everything else collapses. And here's where the irony really kicks in. Many of the same people who treat disrespect as harmless jokes or emotional impulses are often the loudest voices claiming boredom is a valid reason to walk away from a marriage. Let that sink in. Disrespect, supposedly no big deal, but boredom, suddenly that's grounds for burning everything down. So ask yourself, why is boredom framed as a serious issue, but disrespect is brushed off as nothing? Because one centers personal feelings and the other requires accountability. And accountability is what's being avoided here. This mindset reflects a larger cultural problem where commitment is treated as disposable. Standards are one-sided, and emotional impulse is elevated above responsibility. This isn't about being controlling. It's not about ego. It's about basic relational respect. When you normalize disrespect, you shouldn't be shocked when the relationship eventually collapses. And when someone finally says, I'm not tolerating this anymore, that's not fragility, that's
3 kids, and if I wouldn't have...
Wouldn't you be ashamed of your 3 kids? Your 3 kids are a blessing, bundle of joy, blessing from the Most High God. But continue.
If I wouldn't have the 3 baby daddies, I wouldn't have my 3 amazing kids.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa there, boy. Whoa there, buddy. 3 baby daddies? 3 of them. But maybe I'm a misjudged character. But continue.
But for me, you have to accept me as a whole with a 4 unit. So it's either, are you even equipped to hold down this 4 fort?
It seems like the other men that you have children didn't want to come with the 4 equipped, the so-called total package, or what y'all ladies call, we are a package deal. Even if they step into your lives, buy clothes, provide everything you need that you wanted your first 3 children fathers to do, but they never did. This man comes in, now he's second in command behind you and your children. Well, third in command, knowing he's the head of the household, he provides. But now he has to come equipped for a 4-piece, like we at Popeyes or we at KFC or some of the churches.
Men cannot accept that women are single by choice because most men are not single by choice.
What type of men exactly are they talking to? Because most of the guys that I know that are single are happily so.
And I'm sure I'll have many men in the comments being like, I'm single by choice. No, you're not.
Why? Because it's inconceivable to some that a lot of men's standards are too high to date a lot of the women that they meet out there?
Most women are single by choice because getting a man is the absolute easiest thing to get.
I wonder if they know that getting a man and then keeping a man are 2 different things.
Men don't want to believe that, but guess what? Y'all are easy.
I've often found that it takes experts in those particular matters to recognize it in others.
On the other side of the coin, women are mostly difficult to get, okay? And especially now in 2025, women have standards that most men do not ever plan on reaching. And if they do, it is usually a temporary fix until the mask falls.
That might have something to do with the fact that almost every woman out there considers herself to be a 10 out of 10 and expects their man to also be a 10 out of 10. Quite frankly, a lot of women have unrealistic expectations.
County man claims a major triumph in his 3-year quest to protect men from paying child support for children they didn't father. Last year, he helped change Georgia law, and today his work was put to the test with his own future on the line. Fox 5's Lisa Crane has the story.
Okay, the first case is Tony Odom versus Carnell Smith.
But it was a case that didn't make it into open court. After years of fighting, a judge today ruled Carnell Smith was not responsible to pay child support to a child he did not father. Almost 3 years ago, a DNA test proved that the then 11-year-old girl he had thought was his own was not his child. But in Georgia, that didn't mean the end of his own obligation to financially support that child. Smith turned his case into a crusade and helped shape paternity fraud legislation that passed last year. Today, his case was the first to test the new law, and in chambers, the judge terminated his parental rights and obligations.
I feel this is a major victory for defrauded victims everywhere.
There were a lot of people watching this case, like Reverend Randall Robinson. Through DNA testing, he discovered that some of the children he had always thought were his own weren't.
In a previous marriage, and 2 out of the 3 children are not mine. At that time, I still was ordered by the court to pay child support.
And this is the first real test of this new legislation, but it appears right now that even after a man proves he is not the biological father, he...
This is one of those moments where you hear the story and you're forced to ask a very uncomfortable question. How did basic logic get completely removed from the equation? The family court system loves to brand itself as child-centered, but when you actually look at how these laws function in practice, the bias becomes impossible to ignore. Time and time again, fathers walk into these courts already assume guilty, already assume disposable, and already assume financially obligated regardless of truth, biology, or fairness. That's not justice. That's a system running on outdated assumptions and emotional optics instead of facts. What makes this even more absurd is the idea that a man can be legally forced to fund a child he was intentionally misled into believing was his. Think about that for a second. Deception occurs, paternity is false, and somehow the punishment still lands on the man who was lied to. In what other area of life do we reward deception and penalize the victim for trusting someone? You won't find many because it defies common sense. So yes, it's a good thing this man pushed back and helped change the law. Not just for himself, but for every other man who would have been trapped in the same situation. That kind of pushback matters because systems don't self-correct unless they're challenged. And for far too long, family court has operated on the assumption that men exist primarily as financial utilities rather than as human beings deserving of fairness. In a sane world, laws like this never would have made it past the drafting stage. Responsibility would follow. Truth, obligation would follow accountability. And biological reality would actually matter. Instead, we've normalized a structure where emotional narratives override evidence and where men are told to man up and pay no questions asked. This isn't about dodging responsibility. Real fathers should absolutely support their children, but forcing a man to bankroll a lie for 18 years isn't responsibility, it's institutionalized injustice. And until more people are willing to say that out loud, these kinds of laws will keep existing, quietly ruining lives while being defended in the name of fairness.
Were prepared by DNA diagnostics, and they read as follows. You are shaking.
I know.
I feel your nervousness from here. Are you okay?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm perfect.
Okay.
I just want to get it out there. I want to know the truth. That she deserves it. She deserves everything.
In the case of Benning versus Bodine, when it comes to 23-month-old Robin Benning, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
It doesn't matter. I'm still gonna be there.
Mr. Benning, what are your hopes?
I hope Jermaine's mine. I really do. It'd be good to know at least one of my kids is mine. Yeah. I'm looking forward to spending all the time I can with him.
All right. Well, let's get these results. In the case of Benning versus Bodine, when it comes to 6-month-old Jermaine Benning Jr., it has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What the?
Oh. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Benning.
I got cribs and playpens and toys, and I've done everything that I do, and...
Miss Bodine, do you know who Jermaine Jr.'s father is?
No, Your Honor. I didn't know that.
Let's be very clear about what's actually happening here, because this isn't confusion, and it isn't some unfortunate misunderstanding. She knew exactly who the father was. This wasn't guesswork. This wasn't uncertainty. This was a deliberate choice. Getting pregnant by one man and then intentionally convincing another man that the children are his is not an accident. It's a calculated decision. It requires planning, silence, and sustained deception over time. And that's the part people try to soften with emotional language, but there's no way around it. This kind of behavior doesn't happen passively. It happens because someone believes they'll never be held accountable for it. What makes this even more disturbing is that it wasn't a one-time lapse in judgment. It happened twice. Twice! That tells you everything you need to know about the mindset at play here. Once might be explained away by panic or fear. Repeating it shows entitlement. It shows a belief that other people, especially men, exist to absorb consequences while she avoids them. And notice who gets completely ignored in all of this. The children and the innocent man who was lied to. The kids grow up with a false understanding of their identity, their lineage, and their family. The man builds an emotional bond under false pretenses, only to find out his entire reality was manufactured. Yet somehow, the conversation always circles back to protecting the feelings of the person who caused the damage in the first place. This is a textbook example of a victimhood mindset paired with zero accountability. The logic seems to be, as long as I benefited in the moment, the long-term fallout is someone else's problem. And society often enables this by downplaying the severity of the lie or reframing it as survival instead of deception. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When someone is willing to lie at this level repeatedly with full awareness of the consequences, that's not empowerment. That's exploitation. And the more this behavior is excused or minimized, the more it signals that honesty, responsibility, and integrity are optional, especially when there's a financial safety net involved. This isn't just about one woman or one case. It's about a broader cultural issue where accountability is selectively enforced and where the damage done to men and children is treated as collateral instead of a serious moral failure. And until that changes, stories like this will keep surfacing because the system has taught people they can get away with it.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least 6'2".
At least 6'2".
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So 6'2".
Well, 5'6", 5'5".
6'2" bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes.
I mean, it must have been within 5 seconds that she said, men are so superficial. Next words out of her mouth, oh yeah, I wouldn't date a man under 6'2". I mean, is there any self-awareness? Like any at all? Women who have not yet reconciled inside themselves that they are every bit as superficial and shallow as men and they focus on appearances just as much, those women are in for a rude awakening, because that self-image that they have as this morally superior being who doesn't care about looks, that's not gonna last. It can't. It's delusional. It doesn't exist in reality. They don't deserve that positive reputation. It's fake. They have no right to feel so smug. They are just as superficial, arguably more so. But I'm arguing that that's actually where the anger comes from. She's not annoyed that people might see her weight. She didn't stand on the scale in any case. What pisses her off is that her self-image has been threatened. That with these questions, she now has to confront the fact that she's every bit as superficial as she's always claimed men are. And women don't want to give up the feeling of superiority that they have. That's like half of their self-esteem right there is just feeling like they're better than men. She wants to be able to say, I don't date men under 6 foot, while simultaneously saying all men are pigs, they only care about looks. Sorry, no more. You can't have it both ways. And I hope it's clear that what I'm taking issue with is not the preference, it's the hypocrisy. I'm not going to sit here and shame women for not wanting to date short guys. What I'm saying is that if you're going to allow yourself to have dating standards based on appearances, then you need to let men do the same. If you won't date a guy because he's short, then men shouldn't date a woman because she's fat. You're both making decisions based on appearances. Either both of you are shallow or neither of you are.
I see who the real narcissists are. It's us women! I made a video saying I don't never believe the women first until I hear both sides. Everybody in the comments was like, oh yeah, it's giving pick me, it's giving men pick me. And then this lady, she posted a video because she was in the gym and the guy was like, I just commend you for wearing a full skirt, you know, like I don't see it a lot lately. And somebody else was like, it's giving male validation. You women are the wolf in sheep's clothing! Oh my God, it's so clear. Women try to portray this image that men are just horrible people when in reality, it's us.
Are you kidding me? That all of this financial burden with my children is on me?
What?
This is not fair.
When a man shows you who he is, you have to believe him. When anybody shows you who they are, you have to believe them.
Like if he doesn't have to bring nothing of it? Nothing?
That's the that comes with being a woman that is so ride or die about love.
This is up.
Ladies and gentlemen, learn your partner before you jump ahead and
fall in love with the words and all of that stuff that make up this fairy tale. Because when no one's looking, that's when everything just goes left.
Financially, the kids are my responsibility. I have primary custody of them. Damn.
But I'm strong. And I'm here. I will always believe in love. Love is real. But I'm gonna take time to love on me and pour on me. And I wanna learn this new woman that I am. This woman that has learned to emotionally.
Here's where the hypocrisy hits peak levels, and you can't help but step back and shake your head. She went into this thinking divorce was her ticket to an early retirement, a golden pass to keep living comfortably without the obligations that come with honesty, partnership, or integrity. But reality doesn't play favorites, and when it finally caught up to her, it hit hard, brutal. In fact, yet predictably, there's no reflection, no accountability, no moment of maybe I messed up. Instead, what we get is the classic victim performance. She leans into outrage, portrays herself as the wronged party, and acts as though everything that went wrong was handed to her by the universe rather than being the direct result of her own choices. It's almost comical if it weren't so damaging. And the most telling part, the love narrative. She keeps waving it around, talking about how much she loved or how love should dictate the terms. But pause and look closer. It's not love she's upset about. It's financial entitlement. The complaints, the dramatics, the social media posts, it all boils down to the fact that he isn't obligated to fund her lifestyle anymore. Nothing else. Is the core of the problem we keep seeing in situations like this. Entitlement disguised as morality, financial dependence dressed up as emotional injustice, and a refusal to ever sit in self-reflection. And it's why men watching this feel exasperated, because the message is crystal clear. Accountability is optional, victimhood is profitable, and love is just a convenient excuse when reality refuses to bend to one's desires. It's not about hatred or bitterness. It's about calling out a system of behavior that normalizes dodging responsibility while expecting everyone else to pay the price. And until more people are willing to name it for what it is, stories like this will keep repeating.
Get out. I'm getting my lawyer involved.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a list of red flags, quote unquote. And all you have to do is just tell me if they're a red flag or if they're not a red flag.
Okay.
Okay. First one.
Mm-hmm.
Says, I don't care where we eat, but then proceeds to say to no to every suggestion.
Not a red flag.
Okay. Fourth one. Has at least 100+ unread texts, but replies instantly when it's about drama.
Not red flag.
6. Has more than 5 bodies.
Red flag.
I don't know if this is like question 6 or 7, but is following a lot of guys.
Red.
Next one. Still has dating apps installed on their phone.
Obviously, that's a red flag.
Has been cheating on you for a few months now.
Obviously, a red flag. You're cheating. Yeah.
Last one. Dyes their hair red.
Are you? Is this like an at me or something?
Oh, can you explain this?
What is this? I thought we were playing a game.
You know, this is just your Tinder profile.
Play your game, Mark. Do not post this anywhere.
Oh, I am.
I will get lawyers involved. You know.
If you're a man, let me give you a piece of advice. If you ask a woman on a date and it's very subtle and it's a calm date, coffee, brunch, a walk, nice sunset view, go watch the sunset together, and she says no and she's expecting you to take her to the Missoni room at the Bibelos, she's trying to get one over on you and she's trying to see if you'll bite the bait. If it's an actual good woman, like a very beautiful, genuine woman, she's going to accept the very subtle date that you're trying to take her on, because that's when she gets to pick your brain.
And that's why this story resonates so strongly. It's a mix of shock, accountability, and the kind of truth most people won't say out loud. If you thought this exposed some harsh realities, you're not done yet. The next video dives even deeper into these patterns, how entitlement, delusion, and selective victimhood keep showing up in relationships today. Trust me, you'll want to see it. I'll see you there.